Welcome to Being You, an SPH Productions presentation. My name is Shane Hodges, author of It's Time to Be You, How to Become Your Most Authentic Self. My guest today is Tavis Kordell. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tavis is currently acting in the musical Some Like It Hot, playing the role of Jerry/Daphne. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you again for being here. So I like to start the show with a rapid fire Q&A where I ask my guests as many quick answer questions as I can.
Okay.
See how many we get through. Are we ready?
We're ready. Let's do it.
Favorite reality show?
Little Women Atlanta.
Religion you were raised?
Christian.
First kiss?
Like 6th grade.
A movie you watch over and over?
The Greatest Showman.
Ooh, nice. Favorite color?
Periwinkle.
A place you go to relax?
My bedroom.
A food you can eat over and over?
5.
Town you grew up in?
Rayford, North Carolina.
Was your first pet?
A fish named Flipper.
Cute. Do you believe in aliens?
Yes, I do.
What is your favorite city to visit?
New York. New York. New York.
A person you'd most like to meet?
Beyonce.
Have you been to any of her concerts?
I have not.
A smell you hate?
Oud.
What is that?
It's a perfume. No, I hate it so much.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right. Who is your inspiration?
My mother.
Okay.
Yes.
How many siblings do you have?
1.
Well, congratulations. We have 17. A new record. Well, our first segment is called You Do You. This is where we get to know more about what it is you do, your career. Now, as I mentioned, you're currently playing the role of Daphne in Some Like It Hot. Give me a little feedback on how that came about for you.
Well, yes, I saw the show on a whim in New York. I was auditioning for the show, and the people I was staying with at the time, go see Some Like It Hot, it's so good. I'm like, okay. So I went in blind. I saw it and fell in love with it, and even more so because the leading character, Jerry Daphne, was originated by J. Harrison G. And we're from the Fayetteville metropolitan area. So I was like, oh my goodness, I need to play this role. So the show announced that it was going on tour. So I talked to my rep. I'm like, hey, I need to get in. I need to get in for this. At the time, it was my senior year of college. So I was auditioning for this role as well as finishing up my degree in school. So I auditioned for it. I got in the room and I went through the process. And then I booked this as I graduated college.
How was that audition process compared to others?
It was rigorous. To be quite honest with you, I sang and I acted, but I really did not dance. And dance is at the forefront of this show.
Yeah.
I tapped a little bit, but when I say I learned how to tap for this show, I had to learn how to tap for this show. And this was literally months before the audition. Colleague professor to us like, hey, can we go over a little bit extra tap?
Wow.
But it was definitely the most rigorous audition process I've ever.
Why is this particular role important to you?
Well, this role, especially just the role of Jerry Daphne, is just brings to the forefront those who are on the spectrum of non-binary and being trans and queerness. And someone who is non-binary, it means so much to see a role like that created and cultivated for a person of that experience. And also this show, it just spreads the message of love and respect, something that we really need right now. And to be able to share that message across the country is just amazing to do.
Love that. If I understand correctly, the first show you were ever in happened to be the first show you ever auditioned for, which was Footloose in high school.
Yes, that is correct.
And you got the lead.
Yes.
How does that even happen?
Well, I don't know, to be quite honest with you, because I was a marching band kid. I did marching band. I did all things music. Woodwind captain, played all the instruments. And I was like, you know what? I don't really know what this musical theater thing is. I sang. Everyone knew that I sang. But my math teacher was like, hey, you should audition for the musical Footloose. I was putting it off. And Miss Gardner, my math teacher, she was like, you should audition for it. So the day of the audition, I decided to go in and I auditioned with Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And Mr. D, my teacher at the time, cast me as Ren based off of that performance of Have Yourself a Merry Christmas.
How did you choose that song?
It's the only song I knew but off the gate that I could sing a cappella and just sell it. Yep.
That is hilarious. I have to ask, what do you enjoy most about being a Broadway actor?
Wow. It's just telling stories. And also, it's just, I feel like I'm living a dream that I didn't know I necessarily had. When I was younger, I didn't necessarily know the words for what I wanted to do. My mother mentioned to me Broadway, and I was like, you know what? That seemed like an option because I sang well, and it's something people equivalent Broadway and singing as the same thing. So cool. I was like, you know what? Okay, maybe that is an option. And then when I got something in Footloose and got bit by the bug, it's something that resided in the back of my mind because Footloose was the thing that started it, but it was something that I hadn't really considered. I'm like, you know what? Yes, this is nice, but I need to think about something else. But it's something that I didn't stop thinking about and led me to ultimately majoring in musical theater and being here today.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you said that mom had mentioned Broadway and that Footloose was your first entry into musical theater.
Yes.
Have you seen musicals before?
Yeah, well, no. Before this, I had not. It's funny because I was in Footloose, and then I went on a trip with my band, my symphonic band. We went to Carnegie Hall to play at this World Strides convention, and within that package, we got to see Lion King. And I feel like the bug bit a little harder then, but that was the second show that I've seen was Lion King. First show I did was Footloose. Yeah.
Okay. Lion King's that's a good intro to Broadway.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Is there a dream role?
I feel like Jerry Daphne was the dream role for so long. And now that I've obtained that, I feel like I'm bound to play Lola in Kiki Boots one day. I would love to.
I can totally see that.
Oh, yes. I would love to explore Elphaba and Wicked. I would love to bring it back to Simba and Lion King. And I would also love to originate a role. And I feel like there's something out there that is being created that is being written for me. Or also a revival of some sort, like the most recent revival of Gypsy on Broadway, now being a complete African American cast. I would have never seen myself or people of my experience in a role like that. So maybe there's a revival out there that can be planted or casted for me where I can see myself in it for sure.
In terms of an original role, is there a storyline that you considered that you would like to be a part of?
Yes, and that is the of my experience. So with being Black queer, also growing up in a Southern Christian background, I feel like I've seen dabbles of it, like in a Strange Loop, which tells a little bit of that story. But I want a good story like that as well.
Have you done much in the way of writing?
What? Well, technically, yes, I have, but it was an assignment, so I don't consider it as free will. In high school, I wrote a play called Casual Casualties, which talked about how casual casualties have become in our country, especially talking about mass shootings and specifically school shootings that have been happening, and just to know that they just happen so often that we just,
Yeah, it's become normalized.
absolutely.
It's unfortunate. Well, how do you go about becoming the characters that you portray on stage?
Leading with your heart, authenticity, and no judgment because we step into these characters as who they are as people. I create a backstory of like what happened to them before we meet them at this moment of their lives. Because just like us, just like meeting new people in our lives, they had a whole life before you met them. So just no judgment because we all have experiences that create who we are today. So leading with your heart, leading with your truth, and going in just completely free and open-minded and allowing yourself to explore and to explore that character.
To what extent, when preparing for a role, do you go back and look at other individuals' performances of them?
Let's not kryptonite for a while. I would say often, but now moving forward, I say little to none. If anything, I'm going to maybe look to see how the plot of things and see how things go. But as far as forming choices, none. Simply because, especially with this role, it taught me the lesson of I don't have to do that because not only being from the same hometown, originating the Broadway role and winning the Tony for it, I felt like I had so many shoes to fill, such big shoes to fill. And I was like, you know what, Tavis, the only shoes that you can fill are your own. And you can only lead with your truth and your authenticity and walk in this role the best way that you can. And the moment I began to do that is the moment I began to feel comfortable and to create my version of Jerry Daphne.
That's amazing. I do have to ask a question that just for some random reason popped into my mind. You're 6'2"?
6'2", yes.
So what size heels you wear?
I wear a size, I'm going to say it's 12 in men's. I want to say 15 in
Lord have mercy.
But these little dukas are custom. So.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm very excited to see the show tonight, where my husband and I are going tonight, and also to see what more comes for you. That being said, let's move into our next segment, which is Who Are You?
Okay.
Which is where we get a little bit more personal. Let's start out by talking a little bit about One Accord.
Oh,
Who is One Accord?
One Accord is a group that I created on a whim in college. It's funny because we all have mutual friends at the cafeteria. We were all, well, I was supposed to be going to class at the moment. The mutual friends of ours went to class and we were just kind of left there talking to each other. The other two guys were Julian Kennedy and Christoph Harrison. And it's funny because we were just talking about our musical influences, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Dionne Warwick. And we had another similar interest of a gospel group called the Clark Sisters. So we decided to record a video of singing one of their songs. I then went to class and we posted the video and the video went viral. So viral that it led to a AGT producer reaching out to us, asking us to audition for season 16 of America's Got Talent. We weren't a group, but we made that choice in the moment. We were like, well, we are now. So we formed this group. We auditioned for America's Got Talent and made it all the way to the semifinals.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And so you said that you didn't went to class. And how quickly from the time you posted it did you hear from AGT?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
My goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 days.
All right. What can you tell us in terms of the behind the scenes aspect of being on the show?
It's hard. It's a lot. There was so many rehearsals, quick turnarounds, make sure those arrangements and those harmonies were tight. So many flights, so much traveling, so much press. But it was all in the end of it. It was amazing and it was so rewarding.
So I didn't really think about that, but yeah, I guess you wouldn't be staying there the whole time because it's in LA.
It's LA, yes.
Time you were in North
Carolina. Yeah, Greensboro, North Carolina.
So how often were you having to fly back and forth?
I would say a few times a week. And they were really sporadic. They're really sporadic. Simply because there was a time, especially for it was either for our initial audition or for like our quarterfinals or semifinals performance. We had a sleepover in my dorm because we were going to get our plane tickets that night. So we did not know what plane we were on, what time the plane was leaving. We were going to get a plane ticket within a couple hours of the flight leaving. So we had to be close together. So that's an example of how quickly things were.
Wow. Okay. Is it true that the three of you had only known each other for less than 2 months?
Absolutely. It is true. The thing is that you know of people, but you don't know them. I had known them as, because we're in the School of Music, musical theater and stuff like that. You kind of know people around and stuff like that. But actually having a conversation with these guys, never had that.
Sure. So what was it like basically creating a group that quickly?
It was so fresh. And it was also challenging because now we learn each other. We learn how each other works and things like that. Coming in fresh, like really not even knowing your name, who you are. It's just like now we have to form a group. We now have to sing together and we now have to sound good. And we now have to collaborate in a way where we have a product that yields of all of our ideas meshing together beautifully.
That is insane to me. That is so crazy. What a story. To what extent do you have any interactions with the other contestants?
Well, I think it's so funny. We would be hanging out. We would see each other in passing. We would see each other like in the lobbies of hotels. A family that really stuck out to us was the Curtis family C Notes, which was a family band, like kind of 70s kind of vibe band. They were so cool. They all had like afros and stuff. They were really cool. And we really connected with them. Actually, I still stay connected with them today. And yeah.
Nice. Well, my understanding is that acting and singing was not your original childhood dream or expectation. What was?
I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to study animal science. And it essentially was. I loved all things animals, specifically dogs. Never got me one. So there was a show on Animal Planet called Dogs 101 where they would teach you about a few breeds per episode. I want to say about 8 to 10 breeds per episode.
Okay.
And I would soak up all the information. And I could walk down the street today. It's state swimming today. I could walk down the street, but this is this breed, this is that breed. And the owners were like, how do you know that? Because this dog is not common. It's just, and animals have been my first love and still are my first love. But when we got into the more anatomy, cutting things open side of things, I was like, you know what? I don't think this is a career.
I understand. Yes. That was never my thing either. In biology, I was like, I'm not doing that. So you mentioned loving dogs. You said your first pet was a fish.
Yes.
Why didn't your parents get you a dog or allow you to have a dog growing up?
They said it was such a large responsibility to have and things like that. And also where we live in the city limits, you had to have a fence for your animals, stuff like that. So that was now taking apart getting a fence. And also my mother did not believe in having dogs in the house. So she was like, well, the dog's not gonna be in the house. So she said, we're gonna have the fence. So but yeah, that's why they didn't let me have one. They let me have
Did you
fish
have
though.
other pets then?
I had a fish and I had a rabbit named Bun Bun. He lived a full life though. And he had a huge couch, a huge house. He was a lion-headed rabbit, which are like a fluffy rabbit. They live like 7 years, and he lived all 7 years. And he had the biggest cage that I made. It's funny because as parents who didn't want a pet, they fell the most in love with him. And he was bell trained to where if he was hungry, he would ring the bell and things like that. He was smart. He was smart.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Yes.
I love it. Well, in terms of getting a dog,
Yes.
what breed or type of dog would you want to have?
You know, it all depends on my location. I feel like right now, a small dog would suit me best. So I've been looking at the Shih Tzus. Yorkies are pretty happy, but I like Yorkie. Yorkies, a little, maybe a little Maltipoo or something. But when I get a larger space, my dream is to have either a standard poodle. I grew up in my neighborhood. My neighbors had standard poodles, like with the hounds. The dogs know they just know they're gorgeous. And or an Afghan hound, which is like a long, sleek dog.
Yes. A friend of ours, his mother loved Afghan.
Yes.
Several. So, acting. What do you do for fun?
I love shopping. I love thrifting. I like going to the movies, like the actual theater. I'm into fashion. I love tasting this country. I'm into fun. I've been literally eating fun every city I've been in. And yeah, like I said, arcades and bowling, and I really like chill vibes. That's my kind of vibe. Is the place.
So arcades, like what?
Yeah.
Like the old school stand-up arcade game?
Yeah, so I guess it's considered old school now. Like where you go in there and you play the little
What's your
games.
okay? So what are your favorite games?
What's the game? Stackers. I'm really good at. I love claw machines. Claw machines. I love them so much. My father and I, that's something that he and I bonded over growing up. We would do claw machines and he would teach me how to get things. And that is a skill. That is a special skill I have today is claw machines. Claw machines. I love skee ball and I love everything is so new now. Like all these electronic games. But I'm not really into those. But the old school style games.
Did you play video games growing up?
Wasn't allowed to really. So I wasn't really allowed to. But we did have a Wii. Well, our family bought a Wii. With the family bowling, like Wii Sports and stuff like that together. Once a week.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your upbringing. Black, non-binary, a preacher's son, and growing up in North Carolina.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was tough because I felt othered. I felt like it was really hard to find my place. And also it felt, for lack of a better term, I would say closeted and closed off. Simply because I really couldn't step into who I wanted to be because who I was wrong, considering I was wrong. You know, I was taught that who I was not what I needed to be. And so many instances to pray things away. And it was definitely tough being who I was where I was. For sure.
Understandable. How old were you when you realized you were different?
Ever since I was a little kid. I would say around mid-elementary school, I noticed something was different. I was like, you know what? I don't have the words for what this is, but I know that it doesn't feel right. And I know that people around, they don't accept it. So I was like, I just kind of kept it pulled back for sure.
Yes. That being said, what would 12-year-old you think of current you?
12-year-old Tavis would be living in such truth like I am today was a dream for a Tavis back then. And it's something I would have never thought could have happened. Especially being a Christian where I am praying things away and, hoping things will just change. But now to know that I am walking in my truth and my authenticity and happy and just so proud and to be inspiring others. It's just, I think 12-year-old Tavis would beam so much with joy.
I love that. How do you know you are or are not being authentic?
I get reference from this story I was watching. I love Audra McDonald. She was telling this story of an interaction she had with a teacher of hers when Audra was performing on stage. And her teacher was like, I can tell you're performing for the audience and that you're not performing for the true character. So that to me translate as in, am I trying to do things to adapt and to please those around me? Or am I just being honest with who I am as a person? Because I feel like sometimes, especially as people, and especially as actors, we want to make people happy. Whether it be directors, casting directors, we're doing things to make people like us. And one thing that I have noticed where I've gotten the furthest and with is just being myself and not things to appease others and being honest in my truth. And when I stop performing for people to like me is when I truly begin to blossom and grow within my authenticity.
You mentioned that you came out recently. How did that go? And what, if anything, surprised you?
It went very well because I came out on the condition. One, I was just tired of feeling like I was just closeted. And I was really in that foggy headspace. I was tired of being in that fog. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time. You can feel the inkling when it's time for something to happen.
Yeah.
So when I booked this role, I said, if you book this role, you come out. I booked it the next day. So I said, oh, well, it's time to come out. So within a couple of hours, I was on the phone with my mother. We're just talking and stuff like that. I told her about the role and stuff like that. And just like kind of giving her a synopsis of the role. She was like, so why are you telling me all this? So I was like, well, mom. And then I just said it. And she said, stop crying. I already knew. And it just made me feel so good because coming out, sometimes you feel like you're going to lose family. You're going to lose your parents, especially. With my father, on the other hand, at first, it was a little rocky. It was like, because his teaching, I can't fault him for the things that he was taught and how he was brought up. But it's so quickly, because as quickly as he was like, how can you be like this within the next 2 days? He was like, I love you so much. And that nothing's going to change. You're my son. And I'm going to love you no matter what. And, yeah, it went very, very well. And especially it went well to see their growth. So to see how they grew up being taught certain things and being said that this is the way to do certain things and to see that they could now accept and love and support their queer child. Be the boldest. I know my parents right now are my biggest fans when it comes to me in this show. They are the boldest no matter what. They are repping me and loving me so much, no matter what.
Have they seen the show yet?
Twice. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, that brings us to the wow segment of our show, the words of wisdom. Authenticity, you've already mentioned. Authenticity is big for me. Ask my guests, what words of wisdom, what advice would you give to others regarding being their most authentic selves?
Yes, it just goes back to not performing for other people and just really walking into who you are. Because the moment that you begin to perform to other people, you're going to be doing that for the rest of your life. You're going to be trying to appease other people. And being authentic to myself, it allowed me to lose everything that was weighing me down, but to gain everything to lift me up. And when I thought I would lose my parents, when no, I didn't, I gained an even deeper connection with my family. I'm letting them in. I don't consider it coming out. I consider it letting people in. This is who I am. And I began to gain so many friendships, true, honest friendships, not based on any superficial things, and also just gain confidence and happiness and freedom, for sure.
That's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that. Well, in terms of sharing with our guests, what information would you like to put out there in terms of your socials and or your schedule so people can find you?
Yes, my socials are Tavis Kordell on all platforms.
It's very simple.
Nice and concise.
Yes. So you're currently here in Denver doing the show. How long are you here?
We're here for 2 weeks. I believe I can't remember the exact date, but
And then how long does the show go?
we are slated until
Wow. Is that typical for them to go that long?
Well, we're so grateful this tour has been doing so well, and
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, congratulations on that and good luck.
thank you.
Very excited to see the show tonight. And thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Shane Hodges, author of It's Time to Be You, How to Become Your Most Authentic. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe and be yourselves. Have a great day, everybody.